Burgundy wines, as symbols of excellence and authenticity, have built the reputation of our exceptional soil that today enjoys international recognition. The composition and structure of man-made landscapes are the fruit of many, often unknown, geological upheavals. We are proposing a journey through time, back to 200 million years ago, to discover the genesis of our soil. Imagine the Earth during the Jurassic period. At that time, the territory that later became France was submerged by a tropical sea located on the border of the Tethys Sea. The land cover of the few reliefs that had emerged was composed of ferns and coniferous trees, but no grass or flowers grew at the time. The rich seabed of shallow seas flooded with light saw the appearance of abundant animal life. Through the centuries, corals, shellfish and sea lilies accumulated, and the decomposition of their skeletons formed calcareous rocks. Suspended particles, clays and silts, migrating from continents, formed deposits on the seabed. Silts and clays mingled to form sedimentary rocks called marls. Layers of soft marls and hard limestone alternated as they accumulated thickly hundreds of feet deep, which explains the presence of this multi-layered structure that resulted in the makeup of Burgundy's clay limestone subsoils. This period of the Secondary Era lasted 60 million years. During the following period, dinosaurs went extinct and the sea slowly retreated. This announced the advent of a new era. In the early years of the Cretaceous period, the African continent modified its course and advanced northward. The tectonic shift continued, putting our region at the center of a drift that was to have considerable repercussions on the entire French territory as we know it today. The initial impact gave rise to the mountain ranges of southern Europe, followed by the emergence of the Pyrenees. As it dropped, the earth pressure triggered the formation of rift valley systems. In Burgundy, the plain of the River Saône began to form, rapidly filled with erosive materials. Further east, the Italian peninsula, under the thrust of the African plate, arrived at the speed of light. The dynamic African plate pushed everything out of its way and triggered the emergence of the initially submarine base of the Alps, which resulted in the formation of the Mont Blanc. The violent impact ricocheted throughout the territory of France. First, on the adjacent Mâconnais, where many faults were created by blocks shifting east and forming hillsides. 50 kilometers farther north, the geological layers of the Côte Chalonnaise cracked and shifted in two different directions, towards the Morvan to the south and towards the plain of the River Saône to the north. On the site of today's Côte d'Or, a grand staircase of sedimentary layers linked the Burgundy mountain ranges and the River Saône plain, descending regularly from west to east. The Côte Chalonnaise began to appear between the Haute Côte plateau and the River Saône plain. In the Chablis area, located farther away from the Alps, no cracks were recorded. As the north end of the Morvan rose, the Jurassic sedimentary layers tipped, into the centre of the Paris Basin. Burgundy's 5 wine-growing regions were therefore more or less impacted by the Alpine expansion and thrust. Several million years later, the edges of the faults or the embankments along the Paris Basin generated the wine-growing region of Burgundy. Over the last 2 million years, the Quaternary era was to undergo a series of thermal impacts. Between long periods of deep cold and global warming, the climate gradually stabilized but generated many erosive episodes. Erosion stemmed from water and mainly from ice. Water penetrated the faults in the rock that cracked after freezing. When the ice melted, aggregates and crushed rocks were carried away by the streams. There are 2 different hillside formation systems: the appearance of combes such as here on the coastal fault, where the products of erosion formed wine-growing soils at the foot of the hills, or as in the Chablis area, where rivers tunneled the superficial Portlandian or Kimmeridgian sedimentary layers, chasing away the materials generated by erosion. Then, end of this lengthy period of formation marked the completion of the genesis of Burgundy's natural environment. Patiently, man worked painstakingly to build the theatre of a major work, that of soil, that of clima, the small perfectly delineated plots that were to become a unique landscape. The construction of the Burgundy clima occurred in 2 stages. First, during the natural events we have described that lasted 200 million years, and second, via civil society for 2,000 years with the presence of populations in succession: Romans, Burgundians, religious communities, Dukes of Burgundy, wine merchant growers, wine growers. Thanks to the dedication of all of those involved, the clima are now registered in the UNESCO World Heritage List.